Thank you for joining me for the Incredible Factor Business Podcast. I'd love to help you grow a business that shakes the planet. Get started today by joining our exclusive community at sixfigurecashflowclub.com. And if you enjoyed our time together, do yourself a favor. Head on over to iTunes, subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. Until next time, you deserve a business that funds the life you crave. Take care. Hello, incredible ones. Darnyelle here. So excited to be with you for another Incredible Factor business podcast episode. This episode is powered by Breakthrough in Business Live, which we are literally just weeks away from. If you are sick and tired of sitting and struggle and you are ready to strut in significance and you have tried everything you know how to do, but you haven't been able to get that breakthrough that will take your life and business to the next level, I invite you really quickly to go and join me at breakthroughinbusinessevent.com. Okay. So I got to thinking today, we've been together on this podcast for a couple of months now, and I feel like I am spending the majority of my time talking about lots of topics outside of business. And it's true, when you are an entrepreneur and or a small business owner, I think people underestimate the amount of time and energy that needs to be spent on mindset. The 6 inches in between your ears. As I like to say, if you don't work on the 6 inches in between your ears, I promise you, you will not feel 6 figures in between your fingers, right? But in this episode, I thought we'd flip the script and talk a little less about mindset and a little bit more about business. And specifically, I want to walk you through the stages of entrepreneurship. I have been in business for 12 years working with thousands of entrepreneurs during that time period, and even more if you count my time in Mary Kay Cosmetics and running the Women's Business Center here in the state of Delaware. I've seen my fair share of entrepreneurs, and I love entrepreneurs, and I love entrepreneurship. And what I've also come to realize is that depending upon where you are in the entrepreneurial continuum, what will get you to the next level will be impacted. And so I thought it would be pretty cool if we spent a little bit of time with me breaking down to you the 5 stages of entrepreneurship. And I just want to, for those who are listening, I want to put this in the lens of service-based entrepreneurship. If you sell a product, if you sell a widget, entrepreneurship for you is going to be a little bit different. At the end of the day, what you need to do to grow a business in general are the things you need to do. Regardless of whether you're selling a product or a service, there are some continuums that no matter what, you have to master. But in service-based entrepreneurship, we get a lot more latitude, especially around how you price yourself and how you position yourself in the marketplace. So let's talk specifically about service-based entrepreneurship. I'm going to walk you through each of the 5 stages, and then I'm going to talk to you about, no matter which stage you are in, what it is you're going to need to master in order to elevate to the next stage. Let's jump in. So the first stage, level 1, is what I consider the launching stage of service-based entrepreneurship. This is where we find entry-level entrepreneurs, right? Entry-level entrepreneurs have basically just started, or they have just figured that they could turn their very expensive hobby into a business, but it's not yet showing up for them financially just yet, right? I tend to think of entrepreneurs who are at the entry or launch stage as making $50,000 a year or less in your business. Even if you've been struggling at that income level for several years, you're still considered to be in the launch stage of building your business. And this stage, 9 times out of 10, you are spending the majority of your time selling your time for dollars, or at least trying to, right? The entry entrepreneur, the launch stage, this is when you are most close to your employee mindset, trying to be an entrepreneur, right? Remember, employees get paid by the hour. Entrepreneurs get paid for their results. But when you are in the launch or entry phase of building your business, You don't even know what you don't know. All you know is that when you worked a job every single day, you got paid. If you took your salary and you divided it by the number of hours you worked in a year, it came out to probably around $40 or $50 an hour. So the thought of coming out into entrepreneurship and doubling that to $100 an hour, it sounds pretty good, right? But all you'll tend to do, if that is what you do as an entry and launch stage entrepreneurs, you'll create a job for yourself. And I think we all quit our jobs to not have a job, right? So in this stage, it's really important for you to understand that 9 times out of 10, you're severely undercharging and you're not attracting enough of your most ideal clients. You may also be in this stage if you're starting brand new in your business in a new niche and you're still trying to figure out how to turn the ideas that you have into profitability, right? In this particular phase, you're going to have to get your message tight if you really want to break through to the next stage in your business. It's really about messaging and clearly understanding who you are and what it is that you bring to the table. So if you see yourself as an entry or launch stage service-based entrepreneur, this is where you are. The second level or the second stage of entrepreneurship is what I call the growth stage. And this is where you are an emerging entrepreneur. Emerging entrepreneurs are typically generating enough money to have replaced their job. Typically, you're making somewhere between $50,000 to $80,000, $85,000 a year, and your business is most similar to a good paying job, right? You're probably making the bulk of your income through private services, and you could keep going at that level if you want to stay small and predictable in your business. But this is an important stage to create before you grow yourself beyond the 6-figure mark, which most businesses, in fact, in my opinion, all businesses need to have a desire to be beyond the 6-figure mark as their rubric in their business, right? At this stage, it's important that you really are looking to solidify your cash flow and the foundation of your business. If you want to break through to the next stage, which we'll talk about in just a moment, you'll need to create systems specifically around your marketing and sales so that you see more prospects consistently. If you have never heard that business is a numbers game, well, let me be the first to tell you. Business, Incredible One, is a numbers game. And anyone who has a business that is generating multiple 6 or 7 or 8 or even 10 figures, the only difference is they've got bigger numbers than you. They've got more people. When you think about conversion, and conversion is defined by the number of people who take the action that you want them to take out of the mass populace of the people that you have at your disposal. So for instance, if you have 1,000 people on your email list and 200 of them take the action that you want them to take, your conversion rate is going to be based on that. Let me actually grab a calculator and tell you what that conversion rate would be, just so that you have that as a rule of thumb. So if you had 1,000 people and 200 of them took the action that you wanted, then that would give you a conversion rate of 20%, which would be a great conversion rate, by the way. So if you are an emerging entrepreneur in the growth stage, you're making decent money, but you're not yet over that 6-figure mark. And it's really important that you look at your systems and take yourself to the next level. Let's move on to level 3. So stage 3 is really all about what I call the leverage stage. And this is where we meet expanding entrepreneurs. Expanding entrepreneurs are making between $100,000 and $300,000 a year. And a significant portion of their income is coming from group programs, because this is about leverage, right? Leverage is about working one to many. They're leveraging themselves in ways such as speaking. They might have larger clients, or they might also have information products that they're able to sell to the mass population. The leverage stage means that you successfully scaled your business to expand beyond one-to-one. And now your focus is on increasing the number of people you serve and improving your marketing and sales conversion rates that we were just talking about in stage 2. You might at this level have a tier of offerings available so that you can serve clients at multiple levels who have the problem that you ultimately solve, right? You may also be offering some premium one-on-one services. So when you are a service-based entrepreneur, and we're talking coach, consultant, speaker, author, attorney, accountant, interior designer, those types of people, personal trainers. Those are service-based entrepreneurs who, in addition to, at this point, introducing group work to their business to get leverage, may also be offering their services in a premium fashion to a smaller subset of people who want to work with them one-on-one. If you want to break through to the next stage in your business, you'll need to build a thought leadership platform. Look for increased exposure to media, PR, and strategic partnerships and alliances. If you haven't written a book yet, you'll want to write one when you're in the leverage stage of your business because it will open doors to bigger speaking opportunities. You'll need to get out and speak in different locations to different audiences to expand your footprint. Something else that's really important for you at the leverage stage is to start getting recognized for awards. There are tons of awards that happen every single year in the United States, and I'm sure abroad as well, that you can nominate yourself for. So it's important in the leverage stage to really build your thought leadership platform so that you open up the door and expand your footprint. You'll start working the numbers and have yourself building out a team so that you can maximize the opportunities that are starting to come your way. You'll start to segment your team based on what I recommend, that you have 3 different teams: a talent team, an operations team, and a sales team. That is the leverage stage. So before we move on to stage 4, let's do a quick run back of the first 3 stages. So the first stage is the launch stage, and that is where we find entry entrepreneurs. The second stage is the growth stage, and that is where we find emerging entrepreneurs. And the third stage is the leverage stage, and that is where we find expanding entrepreneurs. When you are ready for the impact stage, you are ready for the big time. Impact means you are, you guessed it, shaking the planet, right? You are creating an amazing ripple effect and you are impacting major lives. In this stage, you're making somewhere between $300,000 and $1 million a year. This is where you really start to make a splash in your industry. Your visibility continues to grow, your list is growing, and you're able to make a much bigger impact with your message. You're at a position where making multiple 6 figures is exactly who you are, and you're building out an amazing support team. And now you're starting to offer very little one-on-one services. In fact, I recommend keeping your business offerings primarily leveraged at this stage. So that means you want group programs at higher price points in this stage. Because at the end of the day, yes, you can serve 1,000 people a year to generate $1 million, or you could serve 100 people a year to generate $1 million. But what if you could serve 30 people a year to generate $1 million? Now, I do know that, of course, if you only work with 30 clients a year, your impact is really minimal. You're not really where you need to be, but it depends on where you are and what's most important for you. I'm just stating that, especially in the impact stage, everything about your business begins to change, and it begins to become less about you from the standpoint of what works best for you, and more about you from the standpoint of serving more people. But there's more than one way to skin a cat. If you want to break through while you're in the impact stage, to get to the next phase, you'll have to significantly up level your ideal client and what you offer them. You're continuing to build out your team. Your 3 teams are well defined, and you're designating leaders at every level so that you are not the sole manager. You're actually moving out of being the CEO and being more into just being the talent or the brainchild of the organization once you get to the impact stage. And then the final stage of entrepreneurship is the empire stage. When you have built an empire, you are making $1 million a year or more. You've created a business that is changing thousands of lives at a time. Once you hit the $1 million mark, maintenance comes through being smart, reviewing your numbers on a consistent basis, and streamlining your offers to continue to span many levels of client service. You'll also need to, at this point, be in what I call a deep business model instead of a wide business model, so that you open yourself up to several other offshoot divisions that contribute to the overall mission and goal that you have to shape the planet. So there you have it. Those are the 5 stages. Let's run back through them again. We have the launch stage for entry entrepreneurs. You're making less than $50,000 a year. This is when you are most close to being an employee. You still have that employee mindset. Then we move into the growth stage when you are an emerging entrepreneur and you're right on the cusp of crossing the 6-figure mark. Then you move into the leverage stage when you are an expanding entrepreneur and you cross the 6-figure mark and get into multiple 6 figures. And then you move into the impact stage when you are an established entrepreneur. You know who you are, you know what you do, you know who you serve, you know how you serve them. Here you are positioning yourself between $300,000 and $1 million a year. And then finally, you get to the empire stage when you are crossed over that 7-figure mark. And here's what I want to share with you at this point. What stage you are in is totally up to you. There is no right or wrong stage. You have to be willing at whichever stage you're in to do the work and to maximize that stage. If you are at the launch stage and you desire to have an empire-based business, you know you have your work cut out for you, right? There are people who get to the leverage stage and they stop. They're not interested in going to the impact or the empire stage. And here's what I want you to know. There's nothing wrong with you if you don't desire to serve millions. I think there are people out there who will try to chide you or bully you into believing that you're playing small. Never let someone else's definition of playing small become your definition of playing small if you know that what you have created is a life that you love, a business that serves the clients you want to serve, and ultimately shakes the planet. Listen, every ripple has an effect. And no one's to say on behalf of you and your business that your ripple has to be the thousands if you are quite content in serving in your most powerful, impactful way at the level where you are. So don't let people bully you into thinking you have to be somewhere else. So quick story. I remember I used to have a business that was at the empire stage where I was generating more than $1 million a year. The most we ever made in our business was about 2.8 million. And I was doing I was working way harder than I wanted to work. And that was with a team. I had created for myself a very well-paying, but extremely demanding job. It was more demanding than my job when I worked in corporate America, and I didn't love it very much. And so I was willing to lose it all. I was willing to give the world back their empire stage business and circle back into building a business that served me in the best possible way. And I used to question whether or not, by deciding that I only wanted to serve and work with in my consultancy, making it very boutique and working with, definitely less than 100 people a year between the 2 programs that I offer, if I was playing small. I used to ask myself that. And here's the realization that I came to. I'm sharing it with you in the event that you happen to be out there and you're asking yourself the same question. The only person you need to please is yourself and then God. And if you are doing work that is less about you and more about other people on whatever level, know that God is well pleased with you. So don't allow yourself to become bullied, because I literally was stressed out. My quality of life, my self-care was just terrible. I didn't love anything about the monster business that I had created. And once I figured out how to get crystal clear about what it is that I wanted and kind of kill the monster that I had created, everything began to change for me. And I today have a business that I love, and I'm still doing my part to shake the planet. So regardless of your stage, be in the stage that works for you. Now, it is quite possible if you are in the launch stage and you're not making $50,000 a year, you don't want to be there, right? And if you were to ask me my opinion, and I'm just going to pretend as if you did, I would recommend that you be somewhere around the leverage stage. Like, your goal should be the leverage stage. And here's why. At the leverage stage, your time is your own. You have the freedom and flexibility. And for many people, including myself, that is a true core value. Time freedom, time is the one thing none of us can ever get back, right? And so at the leverage stage, you have time on your hands. When I think about how I serve my clients today and the number of clients I have enrolled in my programs right now and the amount of time and energy it takes for me to serve them, I get excited. I become grateful because I know that I don't have to live behind my computer or live with the phone attached to my ear at all times. I can get out and see the world. I can get out and experience life at the next level for me and my family, right? But at the leverage stage, so somewhere between, $100,000 to $300,000 a year, I think is when life really gets good, right? You're making enough money to have a small team supporting your efforts so that you're not working like a super slave to your business. And you have the freedom to make your business whatever you want it to be. If you wanted to go beyond the leverage stage, I would definitely subscribe to and get behind you if you desired to hit the impact stage, making between $300,000 and $1 million. And I will do a future podcast episode where we'll talk about really what you need to be thinking about if you desire to have a business that generates millions of dollars, because there is a lot that a lot of people won't tell you that you need to know in order to be able to really position yourself to build a business at that stage of leadership and leverage that gives you what it is that you want. So while I shared at each stage what you need to break through, in the launch stage, in order for you to break through, you need to get your message tight. At the growth stage, in order to break through, you need to create systems around your marketing and your sales. At the leverage stage, in order to break through, you need to build your thought leadership platform so that you get more exposure. At the impact stage, in order to break through, you need to significantly up-level your client and what you offer them. If you aren't already at high ticket services at the impact level, you will be. And ultimately, once you get to the empire model, it's about replicating yourself and allowing other people to help you to shake the planet. So just a quick review. You want to be crystal clear about the problem that you solve and for whom you solve that problem. You want to make sure that you offer a very clear solution to that problem. And then you want to have a clear lead generation system, which again is going to be your messaging, your marketing, and ultimately mastering the sales conversation and process. So no matter which stage of entrepreneurship you're in today, if you so desire, you can shift to the next stage and continue to do your part to shake the planet. I would love to hear from you. Which stage of entrepreneurship are you in? And what do you most need help with in order to shift? And if I can be of assistance to help you shift, I encourage you to reach out to us. All you'll need to do is to go to Darnyelle.com/session. Let me repeat that. Darnyelle.com/session. And that will start the process for you to apply to have a conversation with me or a member of my team so that we can help you to shift your stage of service-based entrepreneurship so that you truly do build a business that serves you and funds the life you crave. So what's your stage of entrepreneurship? And more importantly, which stage do you want to be in? Launch, grow, leverage, impact, or empire? It's up for you to decide, and know that once you decide, God and his abundant universe will start rearranging itself to bring you everything that you decided. So get clear about where you are now, which stage of entrepreneurship you're in, and more importantly, which stage of entrepreneurship you've got your sets on. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Thank you for joining me for the Incredible Factor Business Podcast. I'd love to help you grow a business that funds the life you crave while your work shakes the planet. Get started today by applying for a discovery session with me or a member of my team. Simply visit Darnyelle.com/session. And if you enjoyed our time together, do yourself a favor. Head on over to iTunes, subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. Until next time, you deserve a business that funds the life you crave. Take care.